Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder in Red Onion State Prison in the state of Virginia in the USA. Welcome to my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me. Today, I'm going to answer some listeners' questions. I had a really cool thing happen. A long time ago, actually last year, as a matter of fact, I met this guy from Helsinki, Finland. I'm not going to mention names for the simple fact that I'm going to talk about his children a little bit, and I'm pretty sure that's a no-no. We was talking several days ago over the phone because he can get a local Virginia phone number through Skype, and he can attach it to his phone number. So when I call, I'll call the Virginia local number, and it rings his phone in Helsinki, Finland. And so we was talking and just chopping it up, laughing, discussing this, discussing that. And his two young children were with him. He's got a young boy and a young girl. And I believe the boy is around 6 years old, and the girl is around 3, maybe 4 years old. Adorable kids. And so after the phone call was over with, they ran up to him and started pestering him with a bunch of questions. And who are you talking to in that strange language? And so he told them, that's my friend Randy. He's from America, and he's in prison. So kids being kids, they started asking a bunch of questions, you know. So he showed them a picture of me from the podcast, and they actually live close to a prison in Helsinki. So they kind of know what prison is. Doesn't kind of hide it from them, but he also at the same time, they're young kids. He doesn't give them both barrels neither. And both barrels is a redneck euphemism for shooting someone with both barrels of a shotgun, meaning, you get the whole truth regardless of what it is, and you deal with it the best you can. I mean, they're kids, and he loves them, of course, so he just kind of eases it a little bit, but, he still gives them the truth at the same time. So they started asking me asking him a bunch of questions. So he actually sent me an email and with their little list of questions and everything. And so I took the time earlier this morning to sit down and answer all their questions. And, it was really cool. I laughed at it. It's pretty cool questions actually coming from kids that young. So the first question was, can you have toys in prison? And I wrote back, no, unfortunately, I can't have toys. So that would be kind of cool. Yeah, I know I'm a 42-year-old man, and I'm this hardened convict prisoner, whatnot. But yeah, some toys would actually be kind of cool. That would help pass the time. I probably ain't gonna play with a stuffed animal, but having a little remote control car or something to drive around that would be awesome. Then they asked, can you watch cartoons in prison? And I wrote back, yes, sometimes I can. Sometimes the stations we have will show some cartoons. Usually those cartoons would be Family Guy, American Dad, Bob's Burgers, that kind of cartoons. Though I have been watching the Wild Kratts on PBS. I actually like that one. I know it's for like kids, but it's got animals and nature and stuff in it, so I watch it because it's pretty cool. And they asked, do you have a toilet if you have to go pee? I wrote back, of course, we have a toilet, but it's made out of metal and it's not very comfortable. Do you have a bed? Do you have blankets and pillows to sleep with? And I wrote back again, yes, we have them, but they're not very comfortable. They're not very good at all. They're not soft. The blankets are scratchy and itchy, and the pillows get really, really hard once the air goes out of them. Then they asked, do they lock babies up in prison if they're bad? I wrote back, no, they don't lock no babies up. But you don't have to worry about that. It's a parent's job to punish their children, not police officers, not the court system. Then they asked one, if I promise them that I will never be bad again, will they let me out? And unfortunately, no, you have to do your time. Of course, I didn't go into any explanation of appeals and habeas corpuses and lack of subject matter jurisdiction and so on and so forth. I mean, they're kids from a foreign country. They're not. I don't even understand my damn judicial system. They certainly are not going to. And last but not least, which I thought was the coolest question, and this actually came from his daughter, who was 4 years old. And if you try to escape, will they shoot you? That was just a cool question. I'm sorry, to come from a 4-year-old girl, that's pretty awesome. I laughed my ass off over that one. But, I had to write back, yes, if you try to escape, they will, in fact, shoot you. But only the most desperate people in prison attempt to escape, because 99 times out of 100, you're going to fail, because it is just like one of the most difficult things to do is escape from prison. It's not easy at all. And even if you do manage to get outside the fence, you're going to get caught. I honestly cannot, other than the possibility of the Alcatraz escape, I can't think of any other escape that actually worked, where the person got away and stayed away. Everybody gets caught. So, yeah, those questions were pretty cool, and I thought I would share that. I hope, because I know their father, when he listens to this, he's actually going to play this episode for his kids so they can hear me talking about their questions and answering them. And now to a second listener's question. This is from Jeremy, who is about to start his amateur boxing career. He wrote to me and asked me for some advice on fighting and the mindset that you're supposed to have in a fight and so on and so forth. So, Jeremy, this is the thing. You want to be nervous going into a fight, because when you're nervous, you're not overconfident. You're not arrogant. And I've seen it time and time again. You have guys in here will go into a fight knowing that they have the win, talking trash like, yo, man, watch me, I'm about to smash this punk, blah, 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 and they get knocked out because they're arrogant, they're cocky. You want to have a certain amount of nerves simply because it helps you focus. It helps clarify things. It helps colors to be sharper. It helps you to see better, to hear better, to move better. Like, you want to control it and keep it in harness. Don't let it overwhelm you, so you want to do breathing exercises, make sure you're breathing deeply, not through your chest, but breathe through your stomach. So meaning your stomach should be pumping in and out like a bellows. That way you're drawing in the most oxygen, and that would help calm your nerves and keep your heart rate down. But it's okay to be nervous. I'm nervous before any fight. I'm nervous before any confrontation. But I've been doing it for so long. I've been in so many fights and life and death situations and so on and so forth, to where I have complete control over it. But at first, when I very first started fighting, even as a kid, I would get so nervous I'd get my ass kicked because I didn't know what I was doing, because it overwhelmed me. So be nervous, just not too nervous. But this is the thing. The most important thing in a fight, a lot of people say, oh, it's how hard you hit. No, it's not. Other people will say, oh, it's how fast you punch. No, it's not. Some people will say, oh, it's experience. Well, that one's somewhat true, but it's not the most important thing. That's actually the second important thing in a fight. The most important thing in a fight is footwork. The better your footwork, the better chances you have. I mean, yeah, look, you can always get hit with a lucky shot and get knocked out. There's nothing you can do to prepare for that. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you do, to some extent, control even the outcome of that, because the person who has the best footwork is the person who will win. All right. And you have to go into a fight being confident, but you have to go into the fight knowing, hey, look, man, either I'm going to win or I'm going to lose. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to do the best I can. Be humble, because humility helps you, because it keeps you from going off the deep end. Now, it'll help once you get in multiple fight boxing matches and so on and so forth, because you'll start to gain some experience. So while you're fighting, something that will help you out, something that I do when I'm squared up against somebody. I'm looking, all right, what is their stance like? What do their feet look like? Are they off balance? Are they leaning to the side? Are they leaning backwards? Are they leaning forwards? I'm looking at their hand placement. How are they holding their hands? Are their elbows flared out? Or are their elbows tucked in? When I'm in a fight, I'm watching a person's shoulders, because people say, "Oh, well, watch the eyes." That's where No, don't worry about looking a person in the eyes. Keep your eyes on their shoulders, because their shoulders telegraph a punch. Because the overwhelming majority of people in the world, when they throw a punch, they draw their shoulders back. So once you see that shoulder come back, they're about to throw that punch. So you can already start slipping to the side. And, that's how you win. Other than that, man, you have to go out there and you have to fight. And then afterwards, watch your fight over and over again and pick it apart, saying, okay, look, this is what I've done. And take a sheet of paper and write at the top of it, put a heading up there, what I did right. And then take another sheet of paper, what I did wrong. And you and your trainer, you and your father or your friend or whoever, or just yourself, if that's all you got, and just go, what did I do right? And list them down. And then what did I do wrong? List them down. And then focus on what you did wrong, mainly. Touching on what you did right, still practicing what you did right, because you don't want to get into the bad habit of letting those slide. Make sure you work on those, but really focus on what you did wrong, mainly. I would probably say a 70-30 split, focusing on the 70% of what you did wrong, 30% of what you did right in your next training until your next fight. And then you go in before you're in you go out to the fight in the ring. Have your trainer telling you, hey, look, man, this is what you do right, but this is what you did wrong. So I want you to be careful with this, and I want you to work on this. You got to train, man. You have to train, because fighting is a perishable skill. It's just like boiling water. If you have water on the flame, it boils. But as soon as you take it off, it immediately stops boiling. So you can't take off in training, man, unless you get an injury, then you have no choice. But outside of that, make sure you train consistently over and over and over again, and especially working on the things you do wrong. But that's pretty much the only advice I can give you, man, without being there and seeing you train yourself and fighting yourself and so on and so forth, because I don't know what your strengths are. I don't know what your weaknesses are. But when you come out, when you're walking down and you're standing across from the guy in your corner, have a small smile on your face.
You have 1 minute remaining.
And then as soon as you get to fighting and he hits you that first time, you really smile then. Don't do some Cheshire cat grin, but deepen your smile, because that will play head games with him. Because if you're sitting there smiling, he's like, well, what the hell? Like, he doesn't know. Your opponent doesn't know how to take that, because they're thinking you should be scared. You should be feeling as nervous as they are. And while you are, don't let them know it. And that helps. This has been Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. And for those of you who listen to me on Apple Podcasts, I would appreciate if you'd be willing to review me and rate me, preferably 5 stars, but I'll take whatever you can give. Y'all take care and stay safe out there.
Thank you for using GTL.